What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Andrew back with you once again. I'm going to skip the intro this time, just get straight into the action. Think you know the deal by now. Go and watch the first part of this sweat session, etc., etc. All the reads that I got in part 1 are, of course, still relevant. This just picks up straight where I left off from the last video with the board here and the 6-4 and everything going on. So yeah, let's get straight into it. This was, for those of you who didn't see part 1, just a pretty standard session. 4 tables, no limit 50 on stars. I think I was playing on the weekend as well. I'm pretty sure this is a weekend session. Actually, disclaimer, that may not be correct. Anyway, it's a pretty standard session. Tables are reasonably solid. There are some kind of fish about, which you will see in this video, but I think the tables are reasonably solid. I don't think that any of these tables are particularly easy by No Limit 50 standards. So, it's not just a video where I play against a bunch of fish and win a ton of money. There are some spots where I come up against like reasonable players, so I think that's kind of interesting. This Ace-6 on table 4 here, I go ahead and fold this. I think that's a little bit too tight. It's certainly a completely junk hand, but out of the small blind getting a discount, I think it's a little bit too tight to fold. I'd probably just come in for the limp. I don't really like a raise. I don't mind it, just because our hand is garbage, so it's quite easy to release on most, like facing most action, so it's not terrible to raise it. I guess it's kind of an optional play depending on how you feel you want to represent yourself in the session. If you want to kind of create a bit of a loose image, it's a decent hand to be raising out of the small blind, but I think folding is a little bit too tight. Calling is fine, raising is okay as well, especially given that the button's just limped, which is pretty bad of the button. Actually, interestingly, there is actually an ace which flops on this board, and I just want to talk very quickly about what I would do had I been in this hand. If I had limped the Ace-6, which I think would be okay, I would definitely be leading this board. I would donk lead. The reason would be that it's quite a textured board. Obviously, there's a straight and a flush draw out there. And for that reason, I think there's quite a great deal of value for me with my top pair. I mean, my top pair is almost certainly good. This guy to my left just has pretty much a random hand because he decided not to raise, so he can't really have a value hand. I would expect a guy with, $95 at a 50 no limit table, unless he just got really lucky, to be sort of at least half reasonable. So we would expect him to be raising kind of strong broadways, mid aces, suited aces maybe, so we can take those out of his range. 9s and 8s probably make a raise there as well for him. So, there's not many better hands that he can have. But there's obviously a ton of hands that he can call. And that, again, goes for this juiced guy on the button. He just limps the button. So he can't really have too much of anything either.